Anyway, I did want to get into this next video, which again is this Jimmy Dore clip from a recent live show he was doing. And he is refusing to let this feud with Kyle Kulinski die. He's refusing to squash the beef, so to speak. And he is calling out Kyle and Krystal once again in no uncertain terms. I thought this was pretty funny. I haven't watched the whole thing, so we'll see how far we make it into it. But yeah, let's take a look at this and see if this was warranted, if it was unnecessary, or if it was, right on, spot on. Let's see. I'm interested to hear your take, Zach.
So I was supposed to be on Kyle and Krystal, and I don't know if you know what happened. But they did that thing called canceling me without telling me I was canceled, and then booked somebody else, meaning Jenk's nephew. And then they acted like I was a dick because I wanted them to tell me they were canceling me or something. Do you remember that? Kyle said, "How can I tell you I was canceling you? I was busy doing the show you were supposed to be on." Which is kind of like saying to your wife, "Honey, I couldn't call you. I was busy fucking your sister."
What?
What do you want me to do? I called you immediately after I was done fucking your sister. Aren't I a good guy? So a funny thing...
She's nice.
A funny thing happened. This is all... A funny thing happened. Bernie Sanders was set to go on the Kyle and Krystal show.
Yeah, so this episode is a little bit bittersweet for me because, I love the fact that you got to talk to Bernie, and I have full faith and confidence in your abilities. I know you're going to do an amazing job, but I'm not in this interview, and there's a reason why I'm not in this interview. So, you could probably give the timeline better than me, but they reached out to you and basically said, yeah, we'll do an interview under the condition it's only you. Correct?
So Bernie said, I'll do an interview on Kyle and Krystal, but only if Kyle's not there. Now remember, you can't burn bridges with politicians. Here you go.
Yes, so we actually didn't reach out to them.
See, you say that, but I feel like months ago you did reach out to them and invite them. And then now, like months later, they finally responded and they were like, sure, but only you.
I actually can't. You're probably right, because probably at the beginning of the podcast, they probably did reach out, but it has been, that request has long expired. So they reached out. That was the very first thing they led with when they reached out to me, was like, want to do this interview, but really want it to be just you. They were also kind of open on whether it would live here or with breaking points. So it wasn't just you that they didn't want, it was also...
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just do it on breaking points, because then they could have gotten away with the solo interview thing a lot more, like, inconspicuously, without anyone, making this point that Kyle was disinvited from his own show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The more that I watch this, the more that I think about it, rather, and I think about Kyle's relationship with to Bernie Sanders and the amount of like work that he's done for Bernie and the amount of all of that. The more it actually doesn't sit well with me that this happened, actually. And the more that I would actually be like really pissed off, and the more that I think I would actually have told Bernie to fuck himself. Like, because I'm thinking like Bernie Sanders is probably Kyle's biggest hero in the world, probably, that he's ever had in his life. And I'm sitting here thinking about, what if we got like, fuck politics, right? Like, think about it. Like, or, Bernie Sanders sits us up. Like, if David Lynch sends us an email and is like, I'm only doing the interview if Zach will interview me by himself. And I would be like, oh, sorry, Dave, I've got a bad case of ligma and I'm just not going to be able to make that happen. Like, you know what I mean? And so I understand that they probably aren't like best friends like you and I have been friends for so long, and they don't have that personal relationship to where it would feel like betrayal if you didn't fucking stand by them. But fuck, man, like I think it's cold that they did that. And the more I think about it and the more I put myself in Kyle's shoes, the more I'm fucking like, oh, that would sting, man.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's totally fucked up. And again, I don't know why they didn't just try to do it on breaking points instead of doing it on the Krystal Kyle podcast. Because again, it's literally called Krystal Kyle podcast. You couldn't really, it's just the Krystal Ball podcast if she's just interviewing someone. But they would do solo interviews on Breaking Points and formerly Rising. They would do that all the time. Like when Sagar would like sit down with fucking Josh Hawley by himself, or Krystal would sit down with Bernie. I think she even literally did a solo interview on Rising with Bernie. So they could have done that as a, exclusive Breaking Points interview. But instead, they did this, and Kyle basically got snubbed on his own podcast, which he clearly was pretty salty about. He said he had conflicted feelings about it. So yeah, I definitely agree. But let's take a few more minutes of this in. Thanks, by the way, MP, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Apparently, you hate Jimmy since he spat water on Alex. We asked Jimmy about that. That was pretty funny. And I personally won't, but you can't deny the absolute truth he speaks. Jimmy Dore exposed Bernie first. So I think there's some truth in that. A lot, whatever it is, a lot of people certainly, are pissed off about Jimmy for whatever reason, whether it's him spitting on Alex or, starting some beef.
I'd spit on Alex.
Me too. Yeah, that's one of the best things. It's one of the best things he's ever done, bro. But yeah, a lot of people have issues with Jimmy because of his personality, but I think it's true that he does speak absolute truth much of the time, So yeah, thanks for the super chat, MP. Really appreciate that. But yeah, let's take in a few more minutes of this, see what's up.
Well, you made it seem like
that is funny. They didn't want Kyle, they didn't want Sagar, and they wanted to set the terms for their interview, and we just all went along with it. We let Bernie dictate the terms of his interview. Hey, fuck Kyle. Bernie asked Kyle if he would sit in the corner while Bernie fucked his show. And apparently, Kyle said yes. Let's listen.
It was relatively non-negotiable that they wanted to talk to you.
It was
like a hard line kind of, like, sure, we'll do it, but this is the condition.
Yes.
So, am I butthurt over that? Yes, I'm very butthurt over that. I mean, I supported Bernie.
But Bernie told you before the interview, right, Kyle? He didn't tell you after the interview like you did to me, right?
Also, I don't know why Bernie was so afraid of Kyle Kulinski. Like, I don't really think Kyle would have asked him anything tougher than what Krystal asked him. And we did give props, by the way, to Krystal for the way she conducted that interview. Some people thought it was like a softball. I thought she did a really good job in that interview, at least from what I saw of it. So I don't think Kyle being there would have made it like all that much more intense for Bernie. I think it just would have been another person asking similar questions. So I don't really know why he acted like that in the first place. It does rub me the wrong way too.
Yeah. Also, just one thing, like, there are so many Jimmy haters. I dare all of them to sit in the fucking audience of his show and not laugh their fucking ass off, because the one thing you cannot take from Jimmy Dore is the fact that dude's a fucking hilarious comedian. I mean, he might be one of the funniest comedians I know. Like, I know Jimmy doesn't fuck with the Vanguard anymore, and we had that whole thing that went down, but like, he's so fucking funny, dude.
No, so true. And obviously, like you were making the point of the other day on our live stream, that is a big part of the reason why he's so effective at what he does, is he's just such a good communicator. He really distills things down to a concise point in a hilarious way. So yeah, obviously it's undeniable that Jimmy Dore is an incredibly talented political comedian. This clip is certainly proof of that. Thanks to Das Flesh for the $9.99. It was not okay to leave Jimmy in the dark about canceling the Krystal Kyle Friends interview. Kyle admitted that and apologized. I actually didn't know that he admitted that and apologized. So good on Kyle, I guess. I guess Hassan was simply available at that time. I don't think it was intentional. And that's a good point. I don't really necessarily think that, it was intentional either, that they invited Hassan on as like some sort of a jab at Jimmy. They had talked about how they'd wanted to have Hassan on for like weeks before that took place. I don't think it was supposed to be like some passive aggressive thing. I just genuinely think that Krystal and Kyle, all that drama was going down between Jimmy and Anna Kasparian over the allegations of sexual harassment. And I think that Krystal and Kyle in the moment were like, look, this is too hot right now. We don't want to have him on to discuss this particular matter. We were hoping to talk about other things. Let's wait a little bit. And then unfortunately, I don't really think they handled it correctly with not texting him at the right time and, all that kind of stuff. But I don't think it was like an intentional jab either. What do you think though, Zach?
Yeah, look, I don't think that, like, obviously Jimmy got the fucking short end of the stick on this. I thought that his comedy routine about it was fucking hilarious that we just listened to. And it kind of definitely gets to the crux of how he felt, right? And the fact that he got burned, he got screwed. And I think a lot of that's justified emotion. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess that I don't think it was like a personal like fucking attack on Jimmy. Would I as an interviewer, would I have canceled my conversation with Jimmy just because he was involved in some shit like we've all been involved in shit? Of course not. I don't think that's the way I would conduct myself. But that being said, that's their fucking show, not the Vanguard, right? They probably thought it was too Vanguardy for them to get into, so they fucking had to keep it KKF. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah,
we'll see.
No, 100%. I think that's accurate. Let's take in a few more minutes of this before we move on to our next story. But yeah, this is good stuff, guys.
At least he told you before. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure.
More than anybody in 2016, more than anybody in 2020, I got him on Joe Rogan that's, you could talk to Fahd Shakir, his campaign manager. I'm the one who set all that up.
Yeah.
So
I think that's fair.
to sort of be thrown under the bus in a way, and whether it's Saagar or me, I mean, Saagar, he'll even tell you he's more Bernie's ideological enemy than I am.
Yeah.
And so to be somebody who's more ideologically aligned with him and supported him as much as I did, and for him to just be like, I'm going to kick you off your own show, that stung. I didn't like that. I was talking to Korn about it, and he was like, really? How would he do that? I was like,
But you let him fucking do it, didn't you? Let me tell you how that conversation goes down if the Bernie Sanders show calls our show and says, I want to do an interview, but Jimmy Dore can't be there, just Steph Zamorano. It would be, hey, sorry, go fuck yourself. Thank you very much. What? Why? What? You don't want me? You don't want me on the show? Why? Why would I? Just all I'm saying is I don't want the fucking one guy on the show. Why do you don't want to do that? Yeah, I don't want to do that because I actually have a fucking spine and I'm not a nutless wonder. And when a politician wants to bullshit me, I fucking stand up to them. I don't sit in the corner and watch them fuck my show.
And the weird part is I would go, wait a minute, you don't want soccer either.
Didn't Kyle once call Bernie a cuck?
Yeah.
What? Right? So Bernie came back and made Kyle a cuck.
That's exactly right.
I was actually about to make that joke, but I was like, I bet someone in this fucking video is gonna make that joke, so I didn't fucking make it anyway. Good on you, Aaron. But yeah, this is funny shit, guys. I definitely recommend you guys check out the whole clip. It's like 20 minutes long or so. I don't want to sit here and just play it all, but yeah, definitely a good routine. And again, sure, maybe Jimmy is, refusing to let this beef die. Maybe he's, dragging this on, but it's definitely, at least for the sake of comedy in this instance, because he definitely juiced some laughs out of the situation. Once again, that's for sure. I think it did a pretty good job in that instance. So yeah, good stuff.